Hi, Chris, can you hear me? Uh, Yo, hi guys.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for
How we
tuning
doing?
in. All right, let me get my link over. So, we have a special guest joining us today. We're going to be diving into the market, updating policies that are going to affect us all, cybersecurity and hacking stories, all the way to a new GameFi development that Trump is working on. So, it's an exciting call today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show, including just talking about Disney and putting 1 billion equity into Sora, right? Because that's going to bring some huge engagement with Sora. Sora's already for image and video creation. Sora's already up there with some of the best, but bringing Disney into the mix like this is just, I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just saw that news this morning, and it just goes to show, how institutional adoption is definitely shaping the future of the space.
Yeah, and I think it's going to bring more regulations to Sora, just because
Protect the
they're
IP.
gonna
No,
want to protect their brand. They're gonna want to protect their characters. They're not gonna want you taking all of the Disney princesses and memeing them in
come on.
some weird situations, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Well, here we go. We got our CyberSec guest coming on. His name is Nexus. I've worked with him for years. He's a great guy. He's tackling some of the biggest criminals out there right now in the space. Overall, making it a brighter space in general, and he's sort of like a crypto Batman. So, Nexus.
Yes. Check 1, 2.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, you want to introduce yourself and kind of some of the things you've been working on?
Sure, guys. Hello, everybody on X.com and everywhere else. My name is Nexus. I am, in essence, a crypto anthropologist with a special focus on internet crime. I got my master's in business administration in late 2023, and ever since, I have been doing everything I can to help anyone and everyone from the higher level echelon project leaders who have security concerns and social media worries, all the way down to the lowest level common denominator of crypto user who often finds themselves on the receiving end of a phish or a fraud. I've been doing that for the better part of 2.5 years, and I've been a crypto holder, miner, and farmer for 5 years.
Awesome. Yeah, glad we got guys like you in the space because it can get pretty dark sometimes, right? From the extractions we got going on to just, I mean, the straight up hacks and, like you said, phishing attacks. I know the other day, someone I know and love was phished, and someone is using spearfish out from their email inbox and sending it to everyone, and I got an email like that included. So
Every data point that we all put out there, from our accounts to our emails to our wallets to everything else, everything can be collated, connected together, and used to target you, target your users, threaten your users. Obviously, the goal of every good project manager is to prevent that if at all possible. It's the impossible that often flummoxes.
yeah. And I was just saying, like, sometimes there's a good reason, not to be doxxed in the space, right? And I think going after the bad guys is probably the best reason that you could have.
I really wish I could dox too. It kind of stinks, but throwing myself into this world of crook research, it actually does make me a target if I were to put myself popularly out there.
And I just want to say as well, like, it's not like you can create another account and dox on there as just yourself, because your voice is very recognizable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Some of you who've heard me on spaces elsewhere would know, oh, I've heard him before. Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, well, we wanted to bring you on and kind of ask your opinion, on the market, but also some security topics today. We think that, with all of these changes we have coming, with a better Fed chair that's friendlier for the space, with, I mean, all of these regulatory changes, that crypto could be coming back, and hopefully, not just on the meme side, but real utility tokens get the attention they need. But one of the main problems that we see right now is security in the space, right? Like, it's an ever-present
Absolutely.
topic. Yeah. Well, and in November alone, it apparently was one of the worst months ever for hacks. So just want to get your thoughts on that, and yeah, like, why is that?
Well, our decentralized financial networks, their permissionlessness is what drives their appeal by criminal actors. So, in the larger, grander context of all of this, when we see a big protocol hack go down, especially when it's something like Balancer, it's actually our gut to come out and say, "Oh, this must all be horrible. This must be the largest, worst stuff we've actually endured in the space."
Yeah.
The problem with saying that is that actually, when we value all of this stuff in depreciating purchase of fiat currency, this actually isn't the largest and worst month we've had in this space. Mostly
Okay.
because we used to value assets in stronger dollars, which are not as strong as they are now. So if you're looking at the November 2025 numbers, what you actually have to do is you have to chop that down by 25%, and now you have a score relative in 2020 dollars. And we had
Mm.
many billions in 2020 through 2023 dollars worth of hacks back in those days.
Okay.
This number, depreciated for the inflation of the dollar, isn't actually as bad as it seems to be. Now, granted, if you're in the
Okay.
balancer team or the optimism team, that's small comfort.
Yeah, right. Or if you're a holder. I mean, how do
Exactly.
you feel like the space has gotten more secure generally, or I mean, do you see a lot of these attacks being perpetrated with AI or
Yes. Yes,
right?
because threat actors, especially the small scale ones and the non governmental sponsored threat actors, those guys now have easier access to AI tools than ever before.
Yeah.
And I was warning people in conferences, in regional business conferences in September of 2023, that the DPRK and the Russians would be the first ones to start adopting AI tooling to try to scam people. It turned out I was right about that, but I was 6 months ahead of the story. It wouldn't be till January
Yeah.
24 that we would see the FBI put out big pressers that shows, oh, DPRK guys want to get hired on your team, and they will pretend to be Jeff W. from Toronto, Canada, when in
Oh man.
actuality, Jeff's, Kim Park Soon from, Pyongyang.
Yeah. No, I know a lot of projects that have been impacted by that. I've been impacted by that. I think this whole space would definitely do better without those issues. And it's kind of scary because you look at, while the space is advancing, we're getting this institutional adoption, we're getting regulations that actually make sense, like the Clarity Act. We also have AI advancing, and now, any Joe Schmo can run like Claude Opus 4.5 and potentially find exploits. It's kind of scary.
It's terrifying for a lot of these tech startup guys, and especially ones in your field in AI. That's probably one of the first places that I'm seeing people victimized by this sort of thing. And it's getting so egregious because the AI models are getting so good that people are starting to easier and easier fall for the fakes. The fakes are getting less uncanny, not more uncanny. And that's where the real danger lies.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for covering that. We got some other topics coming up, like recently, I mean, I think Cassicus coins, I think that's how you say it, or Cassacious coins.
The Cassacious Bitcoin.
Cassacious.
Yeah, they just started to move. So if you guys don't know what those are, basically, way back in the beginning of Bitcoin, they made these coins and they hold over 1,000 Bitcoin each. And now they've started to move, and I believe there's only 2 left that are untouched. And when you look at the value that these hold, it's crazy. I mean, 1,000 Bitcoin, that's
yeah.
quite a bit these days. A little bit more than
yeah.
back in 2012, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just a bit.
They'd probably be worth even more if we didn't have all these foreign bucket shops manipulating the prices of the mainline assets all the time.
I think, that's one of the biggest issues we've got. I feel like is we have all the suppression so that the institutions can enter and they don't impact the price too much.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And there's some weird stuff that goes on. For example, I won't name the exchange because I won't want to throw the flack, but there's a major centralized crypto exchange that in the past year has been known for freezing out third world traders, citing the law of their home countries. But according to that same law of these same developing world countries in Eurasia, in essence, this centralized exchange doesn't have to return them their funds. It doesn't have to do anything. In one instance, a trader died, and the centralized exchange has essentially said, nope, we're not going to let his family inherit his account. Like, we're just not. Like, that money's ours now, and there's nothing you can do because your law doesn't even recognize crypto as an asset, let alone a money.
Yeah, I mean, being users in the States, we think that we had it bad, right? But I can't imagine being in crypto in these third world countries and then like the exchange screws you or you get hacked. Like, what recourse do you have, right? Especially in a developing country. Let's say you're targeted physically for your crypto. That's even worse.
Yes, and that in particular is happening in by volume right now. We're seeing most of that happening in France, a little bit in London, a little bit in Eastern Europe, and a little bit in Dubai and Canada. Thankfully,
Yeah.
we're not seeing that many in other parts of the states. However, in both Miami and in Los Angeles County, there have been instances of police officers being on the take of the crypto scammers and using police databases to identify using dark web customer information exactly where you live. So if you were ever a participant in FTX, if you were ever at Gemini Genesis Creditor, if you were in any of those, your information's already out there. They already have a way to know what you are and who you are. All they need is a little law enforcement tooling, and now they know where you live. And that's the final component of this. The most famous of these would have been Amaranth, for those of you who are familiar with Twitch streamer Amaranth. Her and her husband were preeminent crypto investors from prior cycles. They suffered a wrench attack in the last year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. A gang of teenagers broke into Amaranth and her husband's house, and the husband ended up chasing them away with a gun, but not before they had already made entry, tied up the woman, the Amaranth, and threatened to basically kill both of them and their family if they didn't give up the crypto keys.
That's terrifying.
You guys can go look up the footage of it. Their security and ring footage of the attack is all over the web at this point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm glad that stuff like this is still rare in the space, but you brought up France, and I mean, France is a developed country, right?
Yep.
And it reminds me, like, just recently, thieves were so bold they stole legit, like, priceless jewels, and I think these were valued in the tens of millions from the Louvre in the middle of the day.
Historically priceless because of their ties to prior French monarchies historically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's crazy in the middle of the day. So, like, if people can do stuff like that, you got to be careful. With
you really do,
guys.
You really do. Yeah, no, I agree. There's been a lot of stories actually where certain millionaires have been held hostage, or their family have been held hostage until they give over a certain amount of Bitcoin. So it is happening.
Yeah,
but that again comes down to the worry of being doxxed, because if you're doxxed, there's the likelihood that people will know, like, the kind of level you got in at and how wealthy you could be and whether it's worth going after.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of one of the funny parts. Like, I look back at this space because I've been building for years, right? And could have made a whole bucket load of money. And I guess that's one of the positive things about not taking profit is you're not going to be a target.
Yay, we're
No.
poor.
Yeah, not even worth it.
The definition of worth it changes by the value of the fiat, though. I've seen Solana scammers wreck $20 to $30 wallets belonging to poor people and consider it huge wins because it's $20 or $30.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even want to go about the specific name of it. I don't want people getting ideas, but I mean, there's hacking techniques now that work just off of a notification. So like, I mean, you got to be safe, guys. You got to have your crypto in cold storage in a multi-sig. You're not able to access it. Because if it's too much, like if it's an amount that could threaten your life, then you definitely want to make sure that it's, I hate to say it, either backed by an institution or in some type of a SIG where you can't be exploited. What do you think? What's the best practices, Nexus?
The best practices are constantly changing in real time. It's what you need to do depends on where your pain points are going to show up. If you run a crypto project on Telegram, that's the first and largest pain point right there. Telegram is one of the more dangerous platforms out here. X used to be one of the most dangerous platforms out here. Less so nowadays that we have the ability to sort of at least double check and confirm little details. Like, for example, that I'm talking to you from North America in the United States. You can come to my Twitter profile. You can check that information. You can see, oh, he is clearly from there. He's always been from there. And there's no confusion about where he comes from.
Yeah.
That helps. But on other platforms where the impersonation and the social engineering is running rampant, it becomes incumbent for every single one of us to basically be vigilant all the time now that we're networking and socializing on the internet. Because more and more and more,
100%.
as the AI tools get better, we're going to be easier to fool. We're going to be easier to trick. Because the technology is going to get better and better and better faster than our human brain's ability to recognize the uncanny is going to evolve in real time, guys, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I remember even before AI really became, as prevalent as it is now. I mean, straight up, my AT&T account, someone pretended to be my wife in some store in Florida, and they thought that somehow that was my wife, and then they changed all my account information and SIM swapped like that. A crazy story, right? And I mean, if they can fool AT&T like that, guys, you got to be careful. So I think, protecting your router, calling your cell phone company, your internet company, making sure that there's safeguards like 2FA, 3FA, music physical devices for backup.
Absolutely.
And
two-factor everything. And perhaps even most importantly, guys, if you're running a big business like TJ and Chris do, you guys are going to want to have a separate device that you don't tweet on, that you don't Telegram on, that you don't Discord on. And that device, that other device, that's the thing you use for the money. That is exclusively dedicated to the money. I don't care if it's a phone, if it's a tablet, I don't care what it is. In fact, don't tell us, Chris, violation.
Chris, don't take that to the local bank and put it in the safety deposit box.
Chris does not keep his keys on a phone. He's messing with you and spreading false information.
Not my keys. Not my keys. TJ knows that my keys aim on my phone.
Any amount over 5K, if you're in the States, honestly, like go put it in the bank or something. Like put it on a device, put it in a deposit box in a bank, put it in a vault. Like don't make yourself a target and have a bunch of fun lying around. It's a terrible idea.
Because you never know who's out there, right? You know, we always had this conversation because I knew a teacher that used to come on Spaces, and I said, "You ever just wake up one day and think, tell the kids homework assignment, go home, find your parents' crypto keys, A+ for everyone."
Yeah.
Interesting theory.
Well, let's kind of move on to the next topic now. The title of our stream today of the show is "Crypto's Entering a New Gear." Are we back? One of the things that we want to talk about is mass adoption, right? It's important for people who are not in crypto to be able to get into the space, to utilize the utilities of the space. And I think our main problem is developers, making tools for developers, and we're not necessarily onboarding the masses appropriately, especially when the number one way of onboarding them was getting people into pump fun, and it didn't go so well. I'm going to share my screen. I just want to ask you guys what you think about this, especially you, Chris. Is the Trump mobile game the path towards mass adoption? The Trump meme.
I'm not
Mobile game.
I'm not too sure on this one. I was so excited when I found out it was a game, to find out it's not really a game.
Well, it looks a lot like the Kim Kardashian fashion thing, if I'm honest.
It looks like a game. Come on.
But
Well, so did Kim Kardashian's fashion house.
but it's like, I don't know. I'm having one of them days, where you think we're back, we're not, we're back, we're not. I'm really on and off.
Come on.
It's
Heinous
crazy.
says
It's crazy.
we are so back.
I said it this morning, but then I don't know. I've been on and off all day because it's like, think about it. So they release a game where you need Trump to play it, right?
Yeah.
And there was a 3% surge, but it's not. It's not
3 or 30. I couldn't hear.
It's not changed the downtrend of Trump.
3 or 30%.
I heard 3.
Oh wow! I mean, that's nothing in this space.
Yeah.
Right?
And it, it's not changed the downtrend of that coin. So I don't know if there's a coin out there called Trump and it's promoted by Trump, and
Well, everyone knows that. I mean, the Trump coin was good, but then once they launched the second one, once they launched Melania, it was the beginning of the bear market.
man,
It was the kickoff event.
I just
Catalyst
sat there
of
and
chaos.
said, why would you do that? Everything was going so well.
Why?
When I remember people are thinking it's gonna be a Barron Trump, Tiffany Trump, Ivanka Trump.
Everybody was saying, "Oh, it's going to be the whole family. We're going to Jesse Pollock this shit."
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna
they
the
were
whole
waiting.
family.
They were on Pump Fun and all of the launch pads waiting for coins to come through, not checking them and just buying $20 of everything coming in. Everything was just a rug because they weren't doing anymore. That was it.
Well, let's check it out. I mean, let's give benefit of the doubt. Let's check out the website. I mean, they're giving away $1 million in Trump coin. Let's check this
I mean, if you're bullish on Trump coin, it could end up being a lot of money, but at the same time, I guess it's sort of like, well, you're giving me $1 million worth at the bottom. I don't know.
Well, so what do we got? I mean, what's the how do you play it? Trump Billionaires Club.
Trump, right?
Yeah, well, what do you do with it? You step into a 3D world where every move is a chance to build your empire. Buy and grow businesses. Collect big profits and try your skill in the stock market. This sounds so degenerate.
I mean, it's just what we do on a daily basis in a game, right?
So do you start out with a small loan of $1 million?
Just a small loan, $1 million. Refer your friends, and they too might get $1 million.
Millions and millions. Oh, it's a
Roll the
board game.
dice.
Interesting.
Ah, so it's
Like Trumpopoly.
Trumpopoly. That's nice. Why did they not
I'm
call
sure
it that?
I'm gonna
They
have
missed the boat.
to wait for my energy to recharge before I can roll the dice another time. I already feel that coming.
Just buy 20 more Trump to roll the dice again. Okay, so
But
you
I
roll.
would do it though.
This might be the path towards mass adoption, guys. Monopoly is the #1 game of all time. Did you know that?
Yeah, and it's based on a game about how landlords suck that Milton Bradley then stole, repurposed, called it something else, and never paid a cent to the original creator.
Man, Monopoly brings
Funny,
out
look at the
everyone's
Mandela
anger.
effect. So you guys, I shouldn't have even said that before I prefaced it. But when you think of Monopoly in your head, like when you were a kid, the guy had a monocle, right?
Not for me.
No,
No?
just a top hat.
Oh
Yeah.
wow! I remember the monocle. I
No.
mean, guys, in the comments, what do you remember? Because apparently, he never had a monocle.
And it's brain confusion. All y'all juxtapose Mr. Peanut features on Mr. Monopoly.
I don't know, man. Kind of like where did the Star Wars Mandela effect come from? Luke, I am your father. Is that the same thing? Juxtaposition?
Why? What's
No, that's
what's
just
that about?
misremembering James Earl Jones lines. That's all that is.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is from your childhood or from years ago. You have forgotten it, and someone said, "Look, these two things look similar. This is the one it used to be." Your brain registers that and goes, "Oh yeah."
You think
That's
someone
basically
is
what it
just
is.
tapping into the collective deja vu of the population?
Someone out there is just sitting there thinking, "What shall I create today?" and then just tricking the entire world.
Well, so you're right, Nexus. So you roll the dice, you get limited rolls per day. You buy property, grow businesses, or pay fees. That's how they make the money right there, huh? You complete quests, can unlock higher tier businesses, and view your properties and your NFTs. Interesting.
And can you buy property off other people? Because that'd be
Buy other
thing,
people's
right?
property. Can the properties actually yield crypto for you?
This is just Upland, but Trump flavored.
I love Upland.
Does anyone remember Upland from back
I
in the
still
day?
play it. It's
You-
not back in the day. I still play it.
Upland's still around. We just don't talk about it.
I think it's because Chris is a boomer.
Oh, no, I sold a property on there the other day. You know, I told the wife about it once. Yeah, she went, "So you made money?" I went, "No."
This is
She
like
went,
adult
"What are you talking about?"
Roblox, right?
I wouldn't go that far. Or maybe if you're running around, if you can run around it, yeah.
I remember that website used to be way cooler. What happened? They like degraded the site.
My app doesn't look anything like that. I've only ever done it on mobile, but I need to transfer because I want to start selling my property for money, right? Because I just all I do is I sell it and then I buy like 4 or 5 more properties and then put them up ×2 and then sell them and then carry on.
Yeah, because I'm interested. Like, if this will really lean into the brand and you can earn money from having properties and they could provide yield, it could be interesting. But I don't know. Maybe we'll have to stream sometime and test it out. Is it the path?
What's the minimum
adoption?
What is the minimum that you need to play?
I have no clue.
And that is, of course, the question, the crux.
I bet it's like $1 million.
You need a small loan of $1 million to get started.
TJ, can I borrow $1 million?
New
Yeah.
exclusive beta
Well,
keys for Trump Billionaires Club will be released exclusively to Mar-a-Lago Club members only. See store manager for details.
Okay, let's kind of move on to the next topic. I guess we'll see if that's the path towards mass adoption there, right? But I don't know what you guys think about. I don't know if you follow soccer. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for calling it soccer. Football, I mean,
It's football. My son
Football.
loves football.
You
Football.
bloody
My son
yank,
loves it.
TJ.
I ain't saying a thing. But no, my son loves it. I've never been into.
Well, is this a signal that Perplexity is going to win, right? You know, everyone's been roasting Perplexity in the news. They're like, they're burning cash. They're not going to win. They're going to be extinct. Gemini has gotten so much better. But now Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the most famous figures in the world. I mean, I don't even have to tell you what he does. He's investing in Perplexity, and he's also marketing them. So everyone thought that they were just spending millions to have him market, but it's the other way around. He's investing and then he's marketing his investment. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's huge. And
Well, the
You
last
know,
time football soccer players were getting involved, it was a major top signal. So beware. Buyer beware.
Sure. Well, thankfully it's not crypto, right? It's AI, but is it a top signal for AI? I guess that'd be a
There's a lot of people asking that question as far as AI. Is it a bubble? Is it just a hot contained pile of hot air? Who knows? Could
Yeah.
be that and more or none of it.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't
personally think
AI is a
that
bubble.
AI is. You think it's a bubble?
I don't think it's a bubble. I really don't.
I think some of it is a bubble, and I think others of it are not. And we will see some corrections, I suspect, but we'll also see market leaders yield ground over time. It's just a matter of who takes some. Mm-hmm.
Arc.ai. Huh?
No, RKI.
Well, you kind of, I mean, you look back at our first model we'd released. I mean, I wouldn't say that smaller companies are too far from the quality of these bigger companies spending hundreds of billions training these models, right?
With massive teams.
And that's what makes this so fascinating to me, because I'm watching little let's just call them little Davids coming up. And they're slinging stones with the force of Goliath's fist. And it's sort of like, hey, I don't know if we can underestimate the little Davids out here.
It's got to keep building. That's the motto, right? I people in the community, they kind of roast. They're like, I know what TJ is gonna say. Let's keep building.
Let's keep building.
It's either
Like
let's
Bob the
keep
Builder.
building. It's either let's keep building or not your keys, not your AI. They're the two.
Yeah, I want to ask you, we haven't had you on the show yet, Nexus. So what do you think of that? Sort of like our tagline. So not your keys, not your crypto, right? That really spurred a lot of adoption of self-sovereign wallets. But not your keys, not your AI. That's kind of the narrative that we want to push, because people don't realize that, you know, all of the data they give these AI companies, the AI companies own it now.
Yep.
People don't realize they don't own these AI models
100.
that they're talking not safe for work with, or like
I've been
putting their IP in.
Screaming from the rooftops about it, boss man TJ. I've been warning people, warning guys, especially guys who are like, yo, I'm building a decentralized agentic AI project on Google Gemini and OpenAI and GPT. And I'm sitting here like, do you know what you're saying? Do you know what you're doing? What you have done? What you've given away in order to build what you wanted in this manner right now. And so many of these guys are, when I actually tell it to them, like I say the words, you gave away like the body of your machine so that someone else could own the bones. And when I tell them that, they actually are like, I don't concede that that's how it is. They almost get defensive, like they're in denial that OpenAI and Google Gemini and Anthropic's Claude, that all of these guys are just soaking all of this query information, and not just the queries, but the responses to the queries.
Yeah.
There are only a handful of AI projects out there that are actually promising the users, you own the data. You own your input
Exactly.
and you own your output. We can't access that. And
Well, yeah, and it's the most important narrative for AI right now, because if a handful of companies do win, they're going to be oligarchs over the entire world, because everyone's going to be adopting AI into their industries, for personal use, for business use. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. But that's why, we're all in and we're focused on providing that solution, which we call Matrix, that lets the people own their AI, right? With Matrix, you can have your crypto wallet, you sign in and you launch your AI models, and they're gated by your wallet. So the AI companies can't see your data. They can't see your AI models. And even ARC, like even us, we can't see the AI that you're going to be using. Because it's backed by your wallet. You share access with your friends through the smart contract, and it's truly ownable AI, and it's something I'm really passionate about.
it's an important niche, viciously very important. And there are maybe only a handful of competitors who are ahead of you with a moat.
Yeah, I'd say I think we're number one so far. It's cool.
Do you have a greater market cap than Eric Voorhees' Venice token? Because this entire thing is what Venice is and does. But Venice is even more crazy. Like they've got something else going on with their credits and tokenomics. Basically, you can stake Venice tokens, and if you don't query the AI every day, you can sell inputs for cash.
Well, the crazy thing is, so I looked into the architecture. It's sort of like it's VPN for AI, right?
Basically.
But does that mean that multiple network participants are getting different pieces of the query? You know what I mean? So
yeah, it depends on which model, because Voorhees opened the floor to basically all of them. He pirated their models and then ran them on his own computers and supports it with the tokenomics. That's how his model works.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, I think it's a great model, like for a lot of use cases, right? But I also think, just building something that, there's zero gaps, like it doesn't even leak parts of the data, is important too, which is kind of why we're all in. But
yes,
let's go back.
To be able to promise the customer or the client business, you own the input, I don't.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of go back to the topic with Ronaldo investing into Perplexity. So he's invested. He's going to be, of course, marketing them, and I have a feeling they're about to shoot up because of that. It's actually funny you ask Perplexity, Messi or Ronaldo, and it says Messi. But let's see what they released about it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I know I'm not as big of a football fan as I guess I'll call it soccer. It's what we call it here in America, as you, Chris. But how big of a deal is this?
He is one of the biggest footballers of all time.
I was going to say he's. I'm not a soccer fan myself, but he's one of the GOATs, is he not?
He is.
Better than Messi.
When we like with the kids, it's who do you prefer, Messi or Ronaldo? That's what comes up. It's no other football.
He blew up. He's freaking jacked too.
Oh yeah, he is.
Isn't he like in his late 40s now or something too? or
He's
is he getting older?
probably like mid-40s, I'd say.
Yeah.
But he's a nice guy as well.
Yeah, I
Like,
know,
he's
it's
nice to his
cool.
fans.
I saw he was at this summit with Trump like a month ago, and everyone was flipping out. Like, why is he hanging out with Trump? Because they know like how much influence the guy has. So that's huge for Perplexity. So I mean, it's funny. I use Perplexity browser. It's pretty good.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about FOMC. So, as poly market,
Powell.
well, and it's good. I mean, everyone kind of, I don't know, we're kind of stuck with him right now, and I think getting that the better Fed chair is going to be huge for the space. I mean, what do you think, Nexus, Chris?
Oh, it's a double-edged sword because Powell's acting kind of blind because they're not really getting economic or labor data the past 2 or 3 months for all of the obvious political reasons. So and the response of by some of the space to this has been to directly change the way some of their earnings programs function, especially with respect to stable coins. The first respondent that I saw as soon as this news dropped was Coinbase, and their action was to cut all interest rates for all USDC depositors in exchange to 0% unless they become a Coinbase One subscriber.
Wow.
I
Is
find
that a
that
good
to
thing?
be I find that not in my mind, I find that to be a strongly anti-consumer move because one of
Well,
the
cutting interest rates to 0. Isn't that what you just said, or did I catch that wrong?
Coinbase is cutting interest rates to 0.
Yeah.
What that essentially means is that if you save money, you don't earn anything. That's not a real consumer move.
Oh,
You
you're
earn,
talking about APY.
yeah. Yeah, they cut it to 0. And now if you want to earn something on Coinbase, you actually have to pay them money every month. It's a very anti-consumer move.
Yeah, maybe they're prepping for their guy to become the new chair, and then they roll it back up to 1%, 2%. They're like a 2,000% increase, right?
Well, you can get the 3.5% now. You just have to give Coinbase $5 to $30 a month, and they'll give you the interest rate. But what's interesting to me is that I heard some characterization of this that actually Coinbase isn't making this move because of the federal interest rate shift. They're making this move because of the current bill that's about to get passed in the House and Senate, which would be incredibly hostile to our industry. It would essentially be a regulatory moat for banks.
Which one?
With the stablecoin attack that banks are currently launching. You see, banks want to be the big interest bearer kings in the dollar world. They want us to deposit in high yield savings accounts where they can stiff us and pay us very, very little interest for the savings. Stablecoins are one of the first routes accessible to Americans where we could get that same high yield interest rate, but we're actually being paid it. So the banks don't like that because it incentivizes, dollar holders
They don't
to
get their
come.
cut. They don't get their rate. Yeah.
Dollar holders can get their coins on chain, get the interest rate in the USDC or even tethers if you're creative. And in that way, the banks want their moat back that they lost.
I mean, there's no way that'll pass, right?
That's
It
the
has to
thing.
pass the House and the Senate.
That's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I'm so gung-ho on campaign finance reform. Bank of America, JP Morgan, Fidelity, BlackRock, Blackstone, all these folks have been lobbying for stablecoins getting clawed back so that now I can't deposit stablecoins in Coinbase and get interest. I have to be a part of Coinbase's
There's no way. I get it, but man, I just don't think there's any way that's going to happen, right? I mean, I have a theory that we're gonna
tooth and nail. We're fighting whether we're talking Bitcoin and stablecoin progressives or we're talking conservative crypto people. In a way, we have an unholy alliance of left and right in the crypto space.
Excuse me. Well, I think I mean, one of my theories is that
I'm too allergic to government bullshit, TJ.
Maybe that's what it is. But there was a theory kind of circulating, and kind of before that, I was thinking about it. Like, we almost have to use stable coins to devalue the national debt. And if we don't do that, and I mean, you see Trump, especially with World Liberty Finance, right? And then the Senate, we know the Senate is controlled by the Republicans, by Trump. We know the House is probably going to be controlled by Trump in midterms because of all this redistricting, right? I mean, I can't see that getting passed where stablecoins are clawed back. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, you can't see it being passed, but you should know the space well enough to know just as you're onto a good thing, they do come along and screw you. Whether it's an indirect way to control or, they are just doing it to manipulate the market. You just don't know. But I wouldn't rule it out at all. Especially if BlackRock are for to pass it.
Yeah,
they're going to be pushing for that hard.
We'll see. Maybe they're preparing for a movement with tokenizing all of these stocks, right? We just saw Armstrong with Fink the other day. They want to appease them even if it doesn't get passed. So why not act like you're on their side so that you get all these tokenized stocks through your platform?
Yeah.
And this is where it almost becomes a, central bank civil war, right? Where half the banks are saying, yo, we don't want the money to get tokenized because we don't want it to get transparent because that affects our dark money and dark market income. But on the other side, you have guys like Larry Fink, who ironically are saying this level of transparency would only seek to benefit markets and the price parity between foreign exchange assets, bonds, and stocks themselves.
Well, what's funny is it's kind of like they're getting the CBDCs, but just without the same level of control. Because I think what's going to happen is we're all going to be using stable coins. Consumers, small businesses everything they do is everyone's going to see it on chain. But then the bigger institutions will be using subnets.
And this is where I actually take issue with a lot of this stable coining that people are trying to do. I don't like the way that World Liberty Finance and USD1 are freezing out some crypto investors because they used privacy tools themselves. Now, granted, privacy tools get used by criminals, so I understand why, from a regulatory standpoint, they might freeze some people's money. But at the same time, when they call themselves the banner carriers of decentralization, and I see them freezing deposits and freezing assets, freezing tokens, that doesn't inspire confidence in their interest in decentralization.
Yeah.
Of course, on the other side, do I think Jeff Bezos or Larry Fink would be less gun-shy about freezing people's money? That Jamie Dimon would be less gun-shy? Absolutely not. I think he might also, in his way, be worse. Those guys would be worse than even World Liberty has been.
Yeah. Well, and
Meta wants their own stablecoin. PayPal has their own stablecoin. World Liberty Finance, USD1. We're starting to get proprietary stablecoins for every single company. And where I think the second order of this is, you guys can kind of look into your own crystal ball and see it. Instead of gift cards, I'm sending you Starbucks dollars. These dollars are only usable at Starbucks or, I guess, tradable with some fees for other stuff. Okay. But how deep does this go? Meta dollars? Elon dollars? X dollars? Like, we're probably going to see all of it and more.
TJ dollars.
TJ dollars.
Hey, that'd be nice. Well, and that's why, even though there's some things that, you kind of have to speculate on, not financial advice. I look at the overall movement of the space. And being, US based founder, I've been building docs for years. I remember it was hell when Biden was president. It was hell for people building in crypto. We were targeted, we were persecuted, and a lot of the times it wasn't even because the project was doing something shady. I mean, sometimes it was, and I mean that's fine. Go after those folks, right? But building real utility, why target that? And I see, the Trump administration, a lot of the stuff that they brought, I think overall it's much better for the space. We have a better regulatory outlook. We have a new Fed chair coming in. And I mean, I think the economy is better. I know we probably differ there, but I wanted to ask, with
I
your
was gonna say, in my area,
Yeah.
the economy is falling the hell apart. I got farmers going bankrupt. I got internet businesses going bankrupt. It is not good right now. Grocery
Yeah.
prices are 25% more expensive than they were when everyone was complaining under Biden. And that's just the local stuff.
Yeah, well, and one of the things too with tariffs is like, I hope it's the short-term pain for like the long-term gain, right? But I guess we'll have to see. I wanted to ask you with, interest rates potentially coming down. One of the biggest things that Trump wants to do with the new Fed chair, Hassett, is lower interest rates towards 1%. Now, looking at this historically, through an anthropological lens, what do you think about that? Like, you look at the Holy Russian Alliance, right? I think it was Russia, Prussia, and another nation's escaping me right now, but they lowered interest rates to 1%. There's other groups that have lowered interest rates very low, and it seems to have grown the economy. I mean, do you think long term it's good, or will it make the inflation unbearable?
Well, in a grand scope of history sense, right now, the rates that are actually impacting us the most are the Japanese government bond carry trade. And Japan ain't lowering, they're raising. And because they raised, it threw the bond market into chaos. And Trump and Powell and Trump's next Fed chair, they can cut more, they can keep cutting, but it isn't the Fed that controls the interest rate anymore. It's the bond market now. The wheels have come off the bus. And if he lowers the interest rates, but world market investors and foreign exchange traders have lost trust and confidence in the dollar, that doesn't spell anything good for the American economy, let alone the crypto industry.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Well, I mean, let's look at the timelines for that, right? I mean, the bond market would be unraveling over. I mean, didn't it do most of its unraveling already? Like that's why it was all in the news. Isn't most of that over with? And now we're on to greener pastures, or no?
Well, you can look at the fact that we've been unwinding a lot of over-leveraged crypto people over the past 2 months since the October 10th tweet action as the data-based answer to that question.
Yeah.
It's scary out here. And when we have functionally the same information out here in the crypto space as the bond marketeers and the Federal Reserve Governor's Board of Directors, basically that creates a unique market environment, to say the least. Things have never been quite this wild and crazy.
Well,
At least not since the last time we had a bunch of foreign and domestic bucket shops running a series of scams that resulted in a little thing we might know as the Great Depression.
I hope we don't get there. And I mean, looking
I
at
hope
all
so
things
too, but
considered,
I'm not the guy who reproduced bucket shops on the internet and called it crypto exchange either.
yeah. What do you think, Chris?
I mean, it's the issue with Nexus. Like, we're optimists, yeah. We like to think oh, everything's just rosy, and then we get a realist on it. It's
I
like,
want to believe
damn.
that the best people are going to do good things and that the worst people are going to be stopped from doing bad things all the time. And when Trump was elected, I wasn't happy, but I was genuinely hopeful that he was going to do good things for the crypto space, that he was going to clear the regulatory moats. And I didn't predict that he was going to create his own stablecoin. I didn't predict that he was going to launch not one, but 2 meme coins before he even took office. That was frankly terrible. And that was the biggest top signal I've ever seen.
You think that's the top of this cycle? Do you think we
Well-
come back in 2026?
Well, if we cut interest rates, then we're kind of conceding that we want to lubricate capital and lower the cost of purchasing dollars, and especially dollars borrowed over time and purchased with debt. We want to make that cheaper. We want to make that easier. And if we do that, we're going to make leverage easier. We make leverage easier. We make all assets go up, and we make the value and purchase of our cash go down.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why with all of these things considered, I think, of course, we're techno optimists, right? We've been in this space. We've seen the worst things, right? And, at the end of the day, when the money printer goes burr and we're buying $50 billion worth of T-bills every month, interest rates are coming down, institutions are coming in. Long term, it might not be great for the space, but I'm thinking 40 years, right?
Term.
But short term,
it's not good for the space. Long term, as you say, nothing stops the train.
well, yeah. By short term, I mean 2026, because one of the biggest narratives is, are we entering the extended cycle, right? For the first time this cycle, is it the 5-year cycle? And with all these factors being delayed and the chop, I tend to think that we could be entering that 5th year.
Can anyone in the chat or in the stream or anywhere, can any of y'all point for me to a time when Bitcoin crossed and demolished its all-time fiat exchange high before the halving occurred? Can you name another time where this has happened? If you can't, then this is not the same cycle as yester cycles.
Yeah, agreed.
Because we crossed the all-time high 3 months before the Bitcoin halving actually occurred. And traditionally, that indicator lags. Traditionally, that indicator occurs after the halving. It's after the supply yield is chopped that we see the value of Bitcoin spike dramatically, because the market catches up to the reality of, there's half as much Bitcoin being mined and dumped by miners.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with that, along with these other macroeconomic events, you would think it's going to be extended, right? Because if Bitcoin continues to go up, liquidity is going to continue to be focused on Bitcoin. That's only once that dominance, drops into your 45 to 55% range, more like 50%, that you really see a lot of these altcoins starting to pick up liquidity.
True. But I also have to measure relative to dollar inflation. And just given that we've seen a dollar depreciation in purchase over 25% in the last 5 years, then I have to apply that same metric to today's price of Bitcoin. And at about 90,000 right now, that puts Bitcoin at about $59,000 $20.
Yeah, it's terrible when you look at it from that perspective, right? It's like looking at it in euros, denominated by euros. I don't get that, but Chris?
Usually on a stream, I'll tell you how it goes, Nexus. Yeah, we will come on, we're all positive, we all go away feeling bullish, and we're like, yay. That's how it's supposed to be. No, I agree.
I am getting that vibe, right? I mean,
I gotta paint a realistic picture. right? Because that enables you guys and your community to make realistic choices in response to, let's be honest,
Not
very
financial
unrealistic.
choices. I think the biggest thing that you said is you talked about how, when we hit all-time high, it was before halving, and in the previous cycles, it was completely different, right?
It occurred months later. Months later.
So, I mean, who knows how different this cycle's going to end up? Who knows? No one.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But there's so much speculation out there, and there's so much bullish speculation. It's hard not to just think it's all going to be good.
Simply, I would just say don't look at what everyone's saying. Just look at what they do. Like, everyone is building to be in this space now. They know they need to race in to capture market share. I mean, Polymarket, Kalshi is the most profitable company in history by how many people are working there per employee, right? And then all these regulations as well.
With the sole exception of Steam is more profitable than Kalshi by a country mile per employee.
How many people they got at Steam?
Less than 200.
I mean, Kalshi's only, what do they have? Like 20 people? Let's fact check it right now.
I'm pretty sure dollar for dollar, Gabe Newell and his people are making more and have made more over time, adjusted for inflation, making Valve Corporation.
Okay, adjusted for inflation, Mr. Adjusted for Inflation. We gotta call you Mr. AFI.
Macro, baby, macro. You gotta have when in doubt, zoom out.
I mean, adjusted for inflation, though, probably Andrew Carnegie or something is the wealthiest man in history, or Rockefeller.
No, adjusted for inflation, the wealthiest man in history was a Babylonian African king, basically.
Solomon?
But I believe it was one of Nebuchadnezzar the First grandkids. But who's tracking the Bronze Age besides me? I'm crazy.
Bronze Age indicators. Well, all right, guys. That was the show today. Nexus, thank you for joining us. I hope you could become a regular guest. Always love your takes. Yeah, guys, we have a lot of things happening right now. The cycle is different than it's been before. We have everyone trying to rush in, from BlackRock to the prediction markets that are coming out of nowhere, to the world's biggest celebrities. And it's an exciting time to live in. So, what?
Vanguard said no in 17, we'll never offer any Bitcoin. We'll never offer an exchange. We'll never offer anything like that. We'll never touch it. 5, 6, 7 years later, they fired the guy who said that, and now they're offering Bitcoin and MicroStrategy.
They're always going to say that they're not into it while they're quietly accumulating. And
that was Jamie's strategy.
Well, yeah, but yeah, guys, there's a lot of positive factors that we're looking at here. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow at 11 CST or just 12 Eastern time. We're going to be streaming again and covering some new topics with exciting guests. So that was the show today, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.